Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. Today, my friends, is some sad news coming from the Sahel region of Chad, my friends. France, yet another sponsored coup d'etat attempt in Chad, and it was about 18 persons who died in that attack. The attackers, around 18 to 20 attackers, attacked the presidential palace in Chad and tried to overthrow the government. And these attackers, of course, were sponsored by France itself. Why don't Macron and France leave Africa alone? Our great president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, has survived up to 19 coup d'etat attempts on his life. He has survived them. That is why he is in constant preparation with his army, following him everywhere that he's go, because he's prepared for anything. And this is sad that France won't leave the Sahel region alone. Boko Haram, they call it a terrorist organization located in Nigeria. We know that that organization is being sponsored by France. So my friends, this news is coming out of the Sahel region. I am going to read right now coming from Al Jazeera news organization, and it reads, Chad's presidency attacked, coup attempt, Boko Haram or drunk fighters. That is what the headline reads. It states assault on presidential complex comes after visit by China's foreign minister, withdrawal and the withdrawal of the French troops, and instability caused by armed groups, my friends. We know Chad would have removed the French army from its territory. I reported on that news some time ago. Go back and see that video that I did on my channel. And because of that, France is not happy. So they are back to their silly games again in Africa, but we will not stand for it. This article goes on to say Chad's capital city is still suffering after deadly gun battles erupted on Wednesday night between security forces and more than a dozen armed fighters who brazenly stormed the presidential palace. At least 19 of them were killed. So Chad is well armed and prepared for this. They're not playing. They're not playing, my friends. Businesses and schools opened as usual on Thursday this week, and most people went to work. But there was more heightened security presence on the streets of Ndjamena. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing this name. This is the capital N'Djamena. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, let me know the correct pronunciation for this word. The city already teeming with soldiers, military tanks dotted the city center. The roads leading to the palace were closed as a result of this coup d'etat attempt on the president there in Chad. The assault comes week after controlled controversial parliament elections in which opposition parties boycotted the vote. They accuse President Mahamat of turning a civilian government into a military-turned civilian government, of trying to legitimize his rule. These countries have to take decisive action in their countries, because France, as we know, keep implementing their puppet leaders. So the people of the Sahel region said no more. It's time to end that. So that is why they have to have military leaders in those areas until the situation is stabilized. The attack also followed Chad's surprisingly expulsion of hundreds of French troops in December. France expelled hundreds of French troops in December, closing the military base there. France, a former colonial power and a close ally, has operated military bases in the country for decades. So the president closed the French military base that was operating in the country for decades, and all of a sudden we're having a coup d'etat on the life of the president. Conflicting reports about whose Wednesday assailant might be floating around social media, adding to the confusion as the government officials attempt to make light of the threat. Here's what we know. What happened? I'm going to let you know what happened right now according to Al Jazeera News. A group of 24 heavily armed men attacked the president's office at around 8:45 p.m. on Wednesday. Government spokesman and Foreign Minister Aberdaran said, speaking on Chad state television. So this news was reported on Chad state television. This is not fake news. This is real news. I know my Nigerian friends, when I said to you a few weeks ago, I did a post about how France is using Nigeria as a base in northern Nigeria to attack the Sahel region. Persons came on and said fake news. But we know Boko Haram is operating in that area in northern Nigeria, and Boko Haram is getting money from France to carry out their terrorist work in that area, trying to destabilize the Sahel region. So Nigeria is complicit. The government needs to act. Why is the government so lackadaisical? I don't know. Are they getting monies as well to just leave it alone? That's something the Nigerians need to ask their government. This article goes on to say the men were armed with knives, not guns, he said. At least 18 of the attackers were destroyed in the ensuing gun battle, while a member of the Chadian security forces died. 3 other security officials were injured, the minister added. The video of the aftermath of the shooting showed bloodied bodies on the floor close to the white pickup truck. That is what happened. The attackers were killed after managing to penetrate the camp surrounding the presidency. This is what someone in the area said. I was impressed by the military deployment. We have a very good army, and the Chadians can sleep soundly. Our country is well guarded. Obviously, it's well guarded. If you have an attack like that, 24 men storm the president attack, and almost all of them lost their lives. Obviously, the military is in top shape there in Chad. President Deby was in the presidential complex at the time of the attack. Hours before, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Deby had met with the Chinese Foreign Minister Yang Yi, who was in the country for a state visit. At least 6 people have been arrested in the connection with the attack. Although it's unclear yet who they are, the minister said investigations are underway. Why is the country tense? Why is Chad tense? The landlocked Central African nation of Chad has long experienced instability in the form of rebel movements, armed groups, and coup d'etats. So after the French army has been in that country of Chad for many decades, and they still face instability. It's obviously who is causing the instability. The French army is there facilitating the instability. That was a trick of France for many decades. They are in the country and they are saying they are fighting terrorism while at the same time they are organizing the terrorists and organizing the instability. That is the work of the French army in those countries. That is why they have been expelled permanently from the Sahel region. Although Chad is rich in oil, a stagnant economy and harsh climate put it on the list of Africa's poorest countries. Why you think that? That is because of the French occupation for all these decades. So now that they would have gotten rid of France in the Sahel, now they can begin to rebuild their economies and, of course, build their own people instead of depending on France, who is causing the instability in that country. My friends, this goes on to say, those who seize power often work hard to quell rebellions by distributing jobs to the former rebels and political opposition members. France has been in that area for quite some time, my friends, and the instability caused by their occupation is well known. Now that France is out of the country, they are now trying to fund these small little groups to carry out coup d'etat to try to get back in their puppet leaders. That is what is happening in the Sahel region. In May 2024, Deby swept the presidential polls, winning more than 60% of the vote. So the current president in Chad won a democratically carried out presidency. He was not put there. He won. The people voted to put him there. And that is why France is so upset, because normally they would implement their puppet leaders and get full control of those leaders. But that is not the case. The president of Chad was elected and he is not playing around with France. He has expelled the French troops from the Sahel region of Chad, and shortly after we're now having coup d'etats in that area. President of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, has suffered 19 coup d'etat attempts on his life already. President of Chad, just yesterday, the presidential palace was stormed by 24 armed men. About 19 of them were shot down. My friends, this is a clear threat in the Sahel region, and my recommendations is that Chad join the AES, the Sahel states, join Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Chad need to join together with those 3 countries, making it 4 countries, and have one border and protect each other from the constant invasion of the enemies. We know France will be a third world country without Europe. They get free resources and free money from Africa, from their former African colonies. They manipulate the currency to suit them. They go into those countries, set up non-profit organizations, and steal resources from the Sahel and Cameroon and Gabon and those areas there. Send them back to France, repackage them, send them to sell them to Western Europe, America, and Canada, and even back to Africa and Asia for billions upon billions of dollars in profit. That is how France make their money. Whereas they want to have their army bases in Africa to monitor the situation and to ensure that their policies are being carried out in Africa to protect their investment, because Africa, of course, is a cash cow for the Europeans. And France is brutal in how it does its business in Africa. That is why Africans are standing up and saying, no more. It's time to get rid of France, my friends. If you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Please consider subscribing to my channel. Like this video, share it with all your friends and family. Please comment as well. Let's have a wonderful interaction today. And let me know your thoughts and opinion on this topic. My name is Beyond. The name of my channel is Beyond Uncut, where we do unedited videos affecting our people worldwide. The mission of my channel is to bridge the gap between the African continent and the African diaspora, which includes Caribbean nations, African Americans, Afro-Canadians, Afro-Europeans, Afro-British. Currently, I'm here in the Caribbean island paradise, my friends. I also have a new channel called Beyond Travel, which I opened up this week, which I will be talking about traveling, all of my experience traveling and visas and the places to how to be a digital nomad and how to travel abroad if you're retired for months, travel for months, come back, move around, the latest news on travels, and that is what we'll be talking about on this channel. And also, when I travel, we will be bringing to you information from the countries that I travel. I was in Africa for 4 months last year, and I'm hoping to go back again this year. And of course, I will bring to you real life information about traveling on that channel. You can go on over to that channel and subscribe. The link is in this description box. Please subscribe to my other channel, Beyond Travel, and share it with all your friends and family, my friends. Thank you for watching this video, and of course, I will see you again in the next one. Much love.